Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown, a live show coming at you on a whatever day this is, Tuesday. We're not used to doing this on this day this late, but hey, why not? As always, I'm joined by Andrew Combo Cellup, who is back fresh from actually being in Paris at the games. Cannot wait to hear about this. So, Combo, what's going on, my man?
All is well. It's great to be back. How are you?
It's good. I'm good. I had a couple of vacations in the meantime as well. I was in Hawaii, but Paris is my favorite city in the world, and I'm jealous as all heck that you went there. So, tell us about it. Like, what was what did you like? What did you see? How long were you there? How easy was it to get access? Were you going to the games?
Yeah, so I was there for 5 days. I did get to see 2 basketball events. One was 3x3 medal games, which is really interesting. And then I got to also see Serbia versus Australia, which was a really good game. It got forgotten a little bit at this point because everything we've seen with USA basketball. But that was a fantastic basketball game, probably one of the best games in Paris in terms of like pure basketball. Serbia actually had to come back and win that one. And I got to watch Team USA win gold from Team USA House, which is really interesting, where all of the Team USA fans come together. It's a great venue, all you could eat, all you could drink. All the countries have their own house, right? And I was in Team USA House, and that was really fun to watch Team USA win gold.
Wow, that is exciting. Any other? Did you go to the Seine? Did you see any of the swimming? Did you get E. coli while you were there? Anything like that, or no?
Everything was good. I had croissants every morning. It was I walked through Paris. It's a great walking city, great food. It was really amazing. Went to a few events, networking events. It's just a great place, and I'll probably be in Paris again. I think I'll be go to the Olympics in LA, but probably never again in my life will it be Paris and the Olympics together, right? So it was truly a memorable experience.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, me and my wife, we were watching the opening ceremony and the whole thing that they did, which was really incredible, just even watching it on TV. And I know that there was some controversy around it. I don't know if you were hearing that while you were there about the imagery they were using, but I got to tell you, it was fantastic and creative and captured the essence of French culture. And that was really exciting. And I love the idea that they would try and do swimming events in the Seine. It sounds like they didn't get the bacteria out of the water they needed to, but hey, yeah, again, jealous. Did you go to the Eiffel Tower?
I did many times, probably like 3 out of the 6 nights I went at some point, because just walking around. I mean, Paris doesn't seem that big. Like if you're somewhere in Paris, you could walk to a lot of places. You could walk to a lot of the events.
Absolutely. I love it. I mean, I was there just before Notre Dame caught fire. So I didn't have anything to do with it, but it happened right after I was there. And so we were lucky. We got a pretty good tour of it before they had closed it down. So, well, I think it's time to talk a little bit about the actual basketball because that was certainly exciting and epic for a lot of those games. And don't forget, if you have a question you want us to answer, the best way to do that would be the super chat over on the YouTube side. If you're over on Twitter, come over to YouTube and watch it there, and you can do it that way. And it'll really help us keep the show going as we really, really appreciate it. We'll give you a big shout out and some hype and all that stuff. So, and it's great to see everybody here. What's going on, everybody in the chat so far? What's up, Joe Electrics out there? Hey, Red, I love it. Hey, sports fans. And Elliot says we're coming for you all in 28 with the French flag. So I think that Elliot must be somebody who is cheering for France, and I wonder if it's the Elliot that I know that might have been in my house who was upset with that France lost. Maybe, you never know. So let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the thing, maybe the big elephant in the room, Jason Tatum playing time.
I mean, I think it was overblown. Like Team USA won all their games. I think if another country, let's say Serbia didn't play Bogdanovic, would the whole country's media be talking about Bogdanovic not playing or about them winning? And I think that's the difference between some of the other countries and us. We focus too much on the individual and not the team aspect of things. Team USA wins gold, and I think that's all that matters.
Okay. And I thought that, Tatum handled it perfectly. That there wasn't any kind of controversy. However, it just felt like they could have found him. And I feel like I can't remember, but we must not have talked about it because you've been gone the whole time. We haven't talked. I was talking to somebody about it where I'm like, in one of the games when they got up by 20 to start the fourth quarter, they could have played Tatum, giving him 7 minutes in the fourth quarter.
We talked about that. I think it was the game before. Well, actually, I didn't. I think there was actually some games while I was still here, right?
Yeah, when
So,
KD first came back. So we already talked
yeah,
about that. But then
yeah.
it happens again, and then I don't think Embiid didn't play in one of the games either, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also Embiid had a big moment versus Serbia. Like if Embiid wasn't on this team, they might have not have won gold because he took over in the second in a part of that second half against Serbia.
Well,
But with
thank you.
Tatum, but
Otherwise, he was getting it handed to him.
yeah, yeah, that is true. But I think like there was somebody that wasn't going to play, and this team was all about Steph Curry, LeBron James, and KD, and what players could fit around those guys. And I don't know if Jason Tatum fits around those guys as well as, let's say, Devin Booker, let's say Drew Holiday, even Derek White, right? So that's what this team was all about, and who's going to fit around those guys. And everybody had to sacrifice, and some people weren't going to play. Tyrese Halliburton didn't play either. He's a great player. I know Jason Tatum's coming off a championship, but I understand it. Like, I know Jason Tatum's coming off a championship, but also another thing, he wasn't shooting the ball great. That's
Right.
another thing. And they needed shooting.
Yeah, I mean, and he'd already won gold, and he already had established himself.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the stat was he did not hit one shot outside of the layup distance. That's not great. Although I thought he was doing a nice job. I saw enough evidence, although I need to go back and watch even more carefully, of him like attacking on the catch and not doing, ball stopping ISO stuff. But I did find it interesting that so Steph gets unlocked in the last two games, right? It took him a while to finally figure out. Not that he was shooting bad, but he really didn't have.
He was shooting bad, Coach Nick.
I thought he was in the mid-30s. I think that whole time.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he was shooting under 25% from a three before that game. Somebody look that up. All the games, not the last two.
All right. It might be tough because man, stats for for the Olympic Games is rough. It's displayed weird. I don't like the way they do. You can't isolate for different games. I don't think I'm going to find a game log. Maybe who knows? Maybe B-Ball Ref does it. I didn't see it. So I swear at some point, maybe like heading into the Serbia game, right before the Serbia game, I was looking at it. He was shooting fine, but maybe he was 5 for 20. Is that really right? All right.
He was struggling before.
But let's that I wish I could put the footage up. IOC is going to yank everything down. I actually haven't checked the Steph shot. Okay, the step to the right over two players with KD and LeBron wide open to pass to. What was I going to say about that? What unlocked him finally? How did we end up getting there? Because he was struggling before. I do want to kind of study this because I know I was going to say the IOC doesn't let their footage on Twitter. When you're trying to do little screenshots like I normally do. It looked like they might have left that one up. Have you noticed? Did you see all those everyone sharing? Because I didn't share it. I just shared someone else's because I was for sure thought that they were going to do that. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I would want to do a video on YouTube explaining what unlocked Steph, but I won't do it because they're just going to block it within 2 seconds.
Wow. No, I didn't even know all of this, Coach Nick. What are they're taking it down on YouTube and Twitter, or
yeah. Well, I did see Awful Coaching had one he did for the first game, and then they took it down about a day later. They were delayed. It wasn't automatic, which is weird because normally they have the algorithm going right away, but they blocked it. And then on Twitter, I had at least 2 tweets that were I got I had locked out and I had to delete it and yada yada.
Oh, I had a few things on Instagram. Maybe Instagram, it's not the same. Where I saw actually, I mean, it was my original content. Like it was content from my phone, so maybe that's a little different.
That's different. I think that's okay. I do think that someone did post some of their footage on Instagram and that got taken down. So they're dumb. It's dumb. It doesn't think about if I didn't know the game was on and I suddenly and then I see on my timeline someone posted an amazing play that's with 5 minutes left. I'm going to tune in. You're going to get more people interested in watching with that sharing. And I don't know. The IOC needs to change this in a hurry because it was like unbelievable. They were deleting stuff from the opening ceremony. People were sharing. All week long or all 2 weeks long. It was just like, you couldn't get anything up. It was ridiculous. And as a result, like, I don't know, I'm going to try, maybe I'll try in a couple more days to see if maybe they're just really being brutal about it, like immediately during the games. And when they're over, they're not. I could try, but I wanted to do a video to explain why Steph got unlocked in the last 2 games. And one of the things was the LeBron Steph pick and pop. Because obviously, if you screen for LeBron and, there was nobody stopping him to the basket. And in fact, in the backcourt, if he got the ball in the backcourt and got 2 dribbles free down the court, it was over. They were so bad, the European or the international teams playing against Team USA. They were so bad at being able to pick up LeBron early enough, or having a second player there, that it was embarrassing. I thought the way how easy it was for him to score.
Yeah, I mean, from playing overseas, I noticed European players are really bad individually on defense, but the team defense is usually pretty good. So that's what I gather. I don't know if like they have the skill set to pick up full court, like a lot of our American guards who are really good at that, right? Like you don't see any Davion Mitchells overseas, right? Like with that kind of defensive intensity.
Yeah, no, that's true too. But like, walling off like you need to do.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you. We actually have a super chat though.
Okay, would you let's put that one up there. All right, so good call. So we have from Van Hoot 2234. Thank you so much from Canada. And of course, he asked because he's a Raptors fan, I'm sure. Does Scotty Barnes 100% make the team? Okay, so should we talk about that now? Because we'll jump back to the LeBron and Steph unlocking stuff. So here's the thing. Steph is done. We know that. I think that was his one shot. He got the, he played great. He won the game for them. Awesome. LeBron is done. He's done it way too many times already as it is. I like to see other people get chances. KD has got to be done, right?
Well, I think he might have the best chance out the 3.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It's time for him to let other people take the mantle too, I think.
Don't you think one vet would be good? And I feel like his game, even though he's had his injuries, will age really well because of the shooting and the size.
Yeah, I mean, he was the X factor to the nth degree. He pulls up and shoots, over his head.
And he makes like great reads, right? I guess like LeBron is known more for that, but like KD, like he wasn't forcing. He didn't make he never forced. He makes the right pass. He can see over the defense. Like he played really good basketball, and we've seen with the Warriors when he's playing with other great players, he gets even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's put that onto Devin Booker as well. I didn't like how he was playing early, but he ended up really just playing that shooter role for the most part. He would every once in a while he couldn't help himself, and he would throw an ISO in the mid post and a terrible shot. But very rarely the last like 4 games where he shot, I think 55% from 3 and some ungodly number overall. And that was nice to see, but it kind of made me start to wonder about Devin Booker if like maybe that really is like his role he should be playing anyway. You know what I mean?
How about that? I mean, how about like the Aaron Gordon, Andrew Wiggins type thing, right? Like they could have been all-stars. Devin Booker is probably at a higher level than those guys ever were, but like their best role was when they were like the 3rd guy, right? Or the 4th guy. Could that be the case with Devin Booker? We don't know.
Because Booker's never shot threes like at an elite level, really. Of course, maybe I have to check last year, but it was weird because everyone loves his jump shot mechanics. It looks good to me, but a lot of times the answer was he would just take these, really tough shots. And
I partly think that's the Kobe influence. I think like he loves Kobe Bryant and he loves that style of play, and that's what he works on, and that's his craft, and that's the player he wants to be. I mean, the Suns have been successful at times with him playing like that, but yeah, like I love this role for him.
Yeah, and so maybe they can get a little bit more of that than he does in the NBA. But let's get back to the Scotty Barnes thing. So,
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm telling you, like I would say those 3 guys are done, and then that's 3 big spots that they need to fill. And I don't know. I haven't really thought about the hierarchy now because of the American players who are left that would fill that role. I mean, do you imagine Donovan Mitchell would probably get a shot at it, right?
I mean, there's so many guys if you think about it. John Morant.
John Morant. Yeah, that would be the political stuff. But
Jaylen Brown, Zion Williamson. And then the young guys that are already on the team, like Tatum and Tyrese and Anthony Edwards. So they got Jalen Brunson's a guy you could put in the mix. Like they got a bunch of guys,
Yeah, it ain't 100% for Scotty, unfortunately.
I love Scotty. Like I love Scotty's game since college. I was hyping him up when he was coming out of Florida State.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know what? He's a really versatile player though. Like, and he's a really good defender, and he can fit with almost anyone. So that's a good thing. And the shooting got a lot better recently. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I like that, and I think that they would probably want him on the team for all those reasons. Injuries are going to be a factor, but if we put injuries aside, it'll be tough. It'll be tough. There are a bunch of guys who are all sort of bunched up in that.
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, and this gets back to my thing, and this is 4 years from now, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 players we don't even know right now who we haven't talked about yet.
Cooper Flag.
Who?
We'll say Cooper Flag. He'll be young, but
Absolutely. He was,
yeah.
I saw some footage during those practices, maybe footage that no one else had seen. And he was handing it to guys, man. And like, even just on passes and stuff, he was completely unintimidated and ready to go. He's ready to go in the NBA right now if he wanted to, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he looked like the best player on the floor with this Team USA team that fourth quarter of that scrimmage. So, yeah, I think he's ready.
See that public, and then there's other stuff that was happening too that was going on. So I don't know if I was sold I was, and I'm still not quite sure the jump shot. I'd love to see the jump shot improve better and maybe some of the mechanics, but what a feel that guy has. So there's no question, and he's kind of the Scotty Barnes, position to some degree. So that's going to be rough in 4 years to see who's going to get that. But I'm all in for it. I'm in LA. Can't wait to be there and cover that while it's here. So, but again, Scotty's it's going to be tough. And then how old is Scotty at this point? Is he 27?
No, he's 20. He's about 23, 23.
No,
I would say.
Okay, I thought he's older than that. Scotty,
no, he did 1 year.
Oh, you're right. Gosh, what is time? Scotty Barnes is 22. He'll be 23 next year. So never mind. He'll be right in his prime.
Yeah.
And you know what? He seems older, right? He seems like he's been around a lot longer for some reason. It's only been 2 years. Wow, crazy. Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Van Hoot. We share a birthday. I guess you share October 11th as a birthday. Awesome. Well, happy birthday, fellow Libra. So let's get back to, and about great question though. And I really like that where we went through that. That was interesting to kind of wrap our head around the future on that end. But the Steph pick and pops, and then LeBron willing to hit him, right? I need to go back and really, really check. I meant to do this, but I just feel like in the first couple of games or first maybe 3 games, that wasn't happening. The popping wasn't happening. That Steph wasn't getting free there. And then as a result, because he wasn't getting free, he wasn't getting a couple good looks in the beginning. And then that was getting some rolls for him, getting on a roll. And that when that didn't happen, then he kind of got stuck in that, weird position, which, maybe it's a credit to LeBron, who said to himself, you know what, I need to find him more. I need to hit him on those pops better so that he can get going. Yeah,
somebody mentioned Chet Holmgren in the chat. He'd be interesting for Team USA too, as like a rim protector.
Yeah, and he'll be much different as well in 4 years, right?
Yeah, look, and then they got the guys who like Derek White. Derek White's not that old, he could probably play again.
Yeah, Derek White. Halliburton. Those guys have the experience.
They'll have plenty of options. I'll tell you that they'll have plenty of options.
It'll be tough for all those guys because they're all going to be. Obviously, again, there's going to be some people who would take like Steph and LeBron are such a different level than a lot of other guys, and like I don't know who's going to fill that void as we move in. And we got these on the American side.
Yeah, and then also like we talked about this before these Olympics that the talent had to defy the chemistry, right? Like these teams have chemistry for years, but our team was just so much more talented. Well, are we going to get we're not going to have as much talent next Olympics, even though there is a lot of talent. Like we're not going to have KD, Steph, and LeBron playing together. Right. So I think a big point of emphasis for Team USA is getting these guys together in the summer, every summer, playing in tournaments, whatever it may be. Like you got to start building chemistry now for 2028.
Absolutely. And especially because, it's funny, I'm actually going to help out a high school team and kind of build their offense for them. And I've been kind of wrapping my head around how, having been a triangle offense coach, and I have all these methods I built up over years and years, and I'm not going to do it exactly that way anymore because that's a little bit outdated. And I'm starting to realize that it is that chemistry, even at the high school level, that you have to develop when you want to run any kind of a 5-out system or 5-out or 4-out and 1-in system where, you're going to give them the power to make decisions. And when that only flows well when they have that chemistry and then they've done it and they work together at it and you put them in situations. So it's the same for Team USA without question. So, and also it doesn't happen you can't just have a mini camp for 10 days in the summer. It's got to be real games.
Yeah, we saw that. Team USA needed all the talent out there to win this gold medal. Like they squeaked by those last 2 games, especially the second to last game against Serbia. So, yeah, they're going to have to start building more chemistry and doing things the right way.
Yeah, Serbia had it. They had a wide open 3 when it was tied or really close, and right at the end that you got to, they shot so poorly from 3. So you can only imagine had they just shot normal from 3, they would have won going away. Now you have to give credit to the defense, but I don't know. To my mind, going through that, there were, a number of threes that they were generating. They were open, and they also were giving up a lot of cuts to Team USA's defense. So, there's the usual suspects we know who struggle on that end anyway. So there's just ways to look at this where a team with like LeBron and Steph and KD, like they should win by 20, right? Like these games shouldn't be that close. But what I think that's a testament to what the other teams are doing.
I wasn't surprised that Serbia was close. Like that was the team that I thought could beat them. I was telling people in Paris, like, this team's really good. Like, they could win this game. People thought I was crazy. But watching Jokic up close, like, he's literally one of the best basketball players I've ever seen play basketball. Like, he's ridiculous.
Well, what about up close gives you more insight into that?
Okay, so I always had this thought about him, but, he's constantly creating advantages throughout the course of the game, subtle little advantages. He never stops playing basketball when he's playing basketball. It's like, when you see players that only play when they have the ball, like, he's the exact opposite of that. And that adds up over the course of the game. And then obviously he's one of the best passers in the world. He's really big guy, and he's a 3-level scorer. I know somebody mentioned the 3-point shooting is down, but just that, like, he's always playing basketball when he's playing basketball, if that makes sense.
You're right. I agree. Yeah, and I think they were a little cagey in the early round matchup where they wasn't for the medal. They didn't show as much as what they were going to do in the final game. That was smart. And so when they came back, USA might have felt a little bit more. They thought they were going to have an easier time. Man, did they barely survive. And then, the French team did some good things. We could talk a little bit about that because part of what unlocked the French team was having to bench Rudy Gobert. And, I wonder what that's going to mean because he had a better niche, I felt like, in the international game for a while there. But, we've talked about him in the NBA and my issues, even though he's a defensive force. He was so bad offensively that when they put him in at the end of the third quarter, they kept the game close when Team USA threatened to break it open. And to Rudy's credit, he was in, but the 2 or 3 possessions where he was involved on offense were so bad that I knew that the coach said to himself, I can't play him in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? And even then, down the stretch, there was a moment where I'm like, you know what? They might have to put Rudy in. They need a couple stops. They might, and he didn't. And I think that was a testament to how bad he had one where they threw it up to him and he got stuck under the basket. And then another one where they kind of lobbed it and he just threw it the wrong direction from the rim. I don't know what he was doing. And it's really frustrating because he's never gotten better offensively. You know what I mean? And it's something he should have gotten better. His hands may be a little bit better in the margins, but he's, for that stature of player, a starter in a long time in the NBA, he should have gotten better in my mind offensively.
I thought Paris overall played really well, though. I mean, I don't know how much more they could have done. They played really hard. Like, they played to win. Like, they thought they were going to win this game. And I've seen other people make this point about Wemby, but I was thinking the exact same thing. The reason he was crying is because he thought like they were going to win. Like, he was so disappointed that they lost that game. And they played well. And then, they started making like the weird shots that happen when like a lesser team beats the better team. Like, they hit that long 3 off the backboard. You're like, yeah, that ain't good if they start making shots like that. So, it was a great final game. But, just like KD was the cheat code for game 1, Steph Curry was the cheat code in the fourth quarter of that gold medal game.
Unbelievable. And, I know a couple of them were like open off a shot fake, side steps, whatever. But the last one was just out of this world. And you know what? It was cool to watch that because you could see Curry like cue himself to find relaxation. So as soon as he got it, he was like, okay, I just relaxed and let it flow. And it was so smooth. Some players get tense and they rush it or whatever, even if they're open. And you could just see him almost like in his mind as the ball got to his hands, he like told himself, and you could kind of see him crack into that where it's like, okay, I'm just going to relax and let it fly. It was beautiful to watch. We got some more super chats. Let's get to those. We have best friend in the breakdown of all time, Bron. Thank you so much, Bron. Great to see you. As always, thank you so much for helping us keep the show going. Who should be more concerned with their 3-point shooting, Jokic or Tatum? Per Synergy, Tatum finished the Olympics and exhibition 0 for 16 on jump shots. Right, that's what we were mentioning earlier. So who could be more concerned? Well, Jokic doesn't shoot them unless he's open, right?
Yeah, Tatum hunts tough threes, and Jokic, it's not a huge part of his game. And often teams sag off him if he's making them or missing them. So it's like they're not really close up on him no matter what. I mean, I think it's way more concerning for Tatum because it's such a huge part of his game.
Especially because it's a little bit awkward. His 3-point shot's a little awkward, especially even on the.
Well, they both are awkward, right?
Well, right. I mean, because Jokic brings it behind his head.
Yeah.
Again, he's not shooting that unless he like like he has to shoot it, but you know what I mean. He has a high percentage because he doesn't shoot them unless they're wide open.
Yeah, I mean, like he's kind of like, so when he's bringing up the ball, it's kind of the Rondo Draymond type of thing, right? Like, okay, you'll sag off him, but it makes him just a better passer, right? Because there's nobody guarding him, so he's dangerous in that regard. And then on top of that, like he's gonna post up when he wants to, and then he's gonna be good in the mid range. I mean, I don't think it affects him that much. Obviously, you want him to make threes if you're the Nuggets, but I don't think it's like he's still an MVP level player if he's not shooting the three at a very high level.
But he probably should shoot some more of those. If he's going to be in that 37, 38, 40% range, he should shoot 5 a game.
And especially now with his supporting cast getting worse, right? Like they don't have KCP.
Oh, I know. I'm going to do a video, I think, on KCP and Drew Holiday. That is the archetype for a championship team. You have to have that guy, right? Like both of them have won. They've combined 4 titles in the last however many 5-6 years, right? And it's that type of player who can really lock down on defense and shoot the ball, handle it as well, make a pass or two. Those are really important players you have to have without question. So I might do a little spotlight on that one.
It's just the Bucks and the Celtics, right? That they won championships with, right? Or who did Drew Holiday at Derek White?
KCP.
Oh, you said KCP. I didn't hear. Okay, I got you.
And Drew Holiday had the Bucks and the
right. And Derek White now. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I bet if I look at the other teams, there's someone else. One of the other championship teams we're missing in there. Let's see. It was the Lakers, Warriors. Well, Clay, I guess was Clay really that guy? I mean, kinda in that position. So we can count him. And then it was the Bucks, Warriors. Lakers, Warriors, Bucks. Celtics. My mind is something like that. Anyway, yeah. So that position again, 6'3", 6'4", good defender on the ball, can shoot the three. You know what I mean? To keep the offense moving. That's such an important player. Yeah. Let's get to our next super chat from Red. Thank you so much, Red. Appreciate it. Should Embiid have been starting? Okay, let's light Embiid up, shall we? My first instinct would be to say no. Overall, he did not play well. He really, really struggled in a unconventional for him. Like, some of the mid-range stuff that he's usually automatic wasn't going down all the time, but there was fumbling of passes and turnovers and all sorts of stuff there, and he was pretty much not helpful, right?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't good, but as I said, like, if they don't have him, they don't win gold.
Right. So, what do you do? So that little stretch there, right? Like in maybe the third, when he hit a couple of mid-range and maybe down low, he got like 6 or 7 points that were key. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a big reason why he was on the team, right? To go against Jokic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he did his job. He was dealing with a lot. He had the boots and stuff. But I would say I always liked the idea of AD starting over him, like from the beginning. Like I like that idea. My ideal starting lineup would be, and I know Booker played great, would be Steph, KD, LeBron, Anthony Edwards, and AD. Like that's the team that I liked going into it.
My 3 non-negotiables would be KD, Drew, and Edwards, and Anthony Edwards. Those 3 guys.
Not LeBron James?
Well, then I guess you throw LeBron and Steph out there with them or something. Oh, no, there's no center. Let KD play center. Those are the 3 guys I thought, like, whenever they unleashed those 3, like, they really ended up having the most impact on the games. But you're right. Then it becomes a political mess where you have to, you can't get, the guys that need to have more minutes out there. So those are the 3 guys I thought I liked the best, and thought, like, even Anthony Edwards, there might have been stretches where he didn't play like great, but like he'd still elevate and just this would be so much better than anybody else. Anyway.
Yeah, he just like basically out talented the competition at times. Like. Yeah, that's a tough shot, but it went in. And
defensively too, he was hounding. He was really doing a lot of stuff there. So
he was the best athlete out of all the basketball players in Paris.
Yeah, for sure. So I would not have been started Embiid, but it's tough because it's like, all right, well, how do you find that role for him? And it should have been AD. I guess AD would be the alternative.
So do you think great super chat, Red? But do you think that no matter what Steve Kerr did, there would have been like some kind of criticism because there's just so many great players?
Yeah, and there's some reason. I mean, the dude, he's won 4 titles, and he's led a team and basically created a new genre of basketball alongside Steph. And it's like the criticism of him in the disrespect is horrible and ridiculous and undeserved, and and he's so unassuming and quiet that he'll just sort of ignore it and put it away. But I gotta tell you, it's like this is one of the finest coaches we've had in the NBA, and his record stands for it, and his playing time stands for it too. So, it proves that. So, I don't understand that. Did you see that AI LeBron thing that they found leaked audio from the locker room?
No, but I see a lot of AI. I see a lot of AI LeBron press conferences. They're pretty funny.
Dangerous. And they made it sound like it was in the locker room, overheard, whatever, and it was terrible stuff. And LeBron would never have said that, and then never would have leaked like that, but not from the locker room. But at any rate, you can still see it out there. Kerr did fine. I think the question is everyone, and I even said this. This might be a while until the USA might not get a gold again for a little while. I threw the women in there because I just seen them almost get beat by France, but the women are fine. But the men, it's possible, and everyone's like, "Well, F you, the Team USA is going to get better too. They're going to continue progressing." I'm like, "Well, they are, but they're kind of getting close to the top there, while the other teams are moving up in a steeper angle, in terms of their development and their ability." So that's keeps happening because the USA is so good. They're kind of plateaued there, and so at some point now you're going to talking about coaching, you're talking about chemistry and all the things we mentioned. So. I think that they're in for it here. Now, again, they're going to be playing here in the United States in 2028, and there's a built-in advantage that probably
we got to hope. I plan on having the B-Ball Breakdown live show continuing for years and years. So we definitely got to do something out in Paris 4 years from now.
We'll see. Well, let's get to our next one. We have another best friend of the Breakdown, Andrew Zhu. Andrew, my goodness, thank you so much. This is so generous of you. It's been way too long since we've seen everybody, certainly you and your great questions. He asks, Canada's offense was too Shea-centric. How can they get Murray going? Yeah, Murray looked bad, right? I didn't think Murray looked good at all and indecisive, weird. It was a strange performance from him. Seems like he couldn't separate without screens from a real big. Maybe they should have brought Tristan. What do you think about RJ Barrett's play? So, I had some ideas about Canada. I think the biggest issues were the bigs. I think Dwight Powell and who's the other big? Ken Birch.
Mm-hmm.
Those were weak links, and that was ultimately the downfall, I thought.
Yeah, they needed Zach Edey.
Yeah, what was the story? I kind of lost track. Why didn't he play?
He decided that he wanted to focus on the NBA.
Wow,
that's kind of crazy.
He would have been interesting.
Yeah, he would. I think he's even better for FIBA than maybe the NBA.
Right, yeah. Because he can zone up and just not have to.
Yeah, and then also the rule, he could just knock off.
Oh, yeah. But either way, he'd help them more than Ken Birch or Dwight Powell, and so that was the biggest one. But I agree. I mean, Shea was great. Shea was really his usual self.
You want to hear something crazy? I was thinking about Shea was the best playoff performer in the NBA playoffs, and Jokic was the best player in these games, but they'll never be remembered that way.
Right, because of Steph.
No, well, that too, but because their teams didn't win.
Oh, that too. Yeah, without question. Yeah. And they don't have the MVP of the tournament. They don't do that stuff either.
No, they did. They gave it to LeBron.
Oh, they gave it to LeBron. Oh, you know what? I might have turned it off. I was waiting for the medal stuff, and then it was taking so long. I kind of.
So they've only been doing it for an Olympics or two, and it's not that big. And people were confused on how to vote for it. I heard it was a QR code with somebody. I don't know. It was just a weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, let's get to our next super chat.
Oh, you know what I found out, by the way?
What?
At Team USA House, flag football will be an Olympic event in 2028.
Oh, that's cool. My son will be really my son loves flag football. That's funny. Oh, but that's cool. So the other thing is, what should be? I don't think it is ultimate frisbee.
That'd be cool. My thing is, I think they should bring one-on-one basketball.
Yeah. No, it's just about the celebrate. Well, I guess they have individual sports too, so that's fine. But we didn't finish answering this question. But
you could answer it.
We talked about Shea. I don't think Tristan Thompson would have been any better either. But what do we think about RJ Barrett's play? What did you think?
I thought it was all right. Yeah.
I didn't watch all of their games, but I did see, he was okay. He's kind of up and down. That's sort of who he is, right? He'll have some games where he's great, and then he'll have games he's very average, and you kind of hope he has the good one when you play against a good team. But, I think RJ is fine. He's a guy who can get close to 20 points a game or whatever that is, and, play a little defense. He's a solid average starting guard.
Slightly above average NBA player.
Above average. All right, there you go. So, and that, I thought he was okay. I thought he was up and down. And it's tough because that's you had a lot of NBA players in that team.
So you don't believe RJ Barrett will ever make an All-Star game?
No, I don't think so. I have to kind of look who else, but it seems like there's already too many people in front of him in that age range too.
Okay.
So do you?
It'd be tough. I think one.
Okay. All right, Brian Holiday. Thank you so much, Brian. Very generous of you. Really, really appreciate it. Why do you think Steve Kerr didn't trust JT? His shooting slump or maybe his on-ball decision-making? Should he have played more? Okay, go.
I don't know if that necessarily means he didn't trust him, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Game. It wasn't like he didn't trust.
Yeah. I mean, I think he trusts all 12 of those guys, right? I mean, it's just like who fits around their three guys. And I think it was good. Like, you have to create an identity, and not their identity was we have a big three. Right. And maybe JT didn't fit around that big three like some of the other players did. I don't think it was that Steve Kerr didn't trust JT.
No, I think he got stuck on, or he was focused on, you can play 10. I can only play 10. And I think the reason why is if you try to play 12, then everybody plays poorly. There's no rhythm. You can't get a sweat, all that stuff. So that's the thing for sure as well. So I got that. So that's how it played out. And then Embiid was one at one point, and then him, and it just happened to be him. Interestingly enough, of all people, because we knew Halliburton would be easy to not to play, and Derek White was easy not to play. But there's then there's going to be the third guy, and so that was tough, to do. So it was weird, coming off of the title, and you'd like to think that he's good enough to have merited the playing time every game, but.
40-minute game, Coach Nick, 40-minute game. You can't play everybody.
That's right. Right. All right. And Andrew is back. Oh, come back. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Andrew. It must be a good month for you. And it's making a good month for us. Higher IQ players on USA got minutes. Tatum and Ant only knew Celtics Wolves offense. Couldn't adjust the way LeBron KD could. Booker was my favorite player in the Olympics. I'm usually a hater as a Dubs fan. I don't know. It was weird. Someone was trying to push back on Twitter for my criticism of Booker, like as if there's some weird bias against him. And I don't think I have a bias against him. I don't love his game. I think
there's certain guys that you like, and there's certain guys that you don't like their game that much. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's some players that are good. Like Seth Partnow told me this once, and it kind of stuck with me. Like, there's players that are good, but they're just not for me. That's how you are. Like, yeah, he's a good player, he's just not for you.
But you know what? I wouldn't say Booker's not for me.
I think he does. Westbrook definitely falls in that category for you.
Right, Westbrook is not for me. And I'm not sure he's even a good player at this point. I don't know how he's going to. You think he's going to make it through the season in Denver?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
They don't have a lot of options.
Well, the Clippers had to limit his minutes to 20 a game to make him playable. And I wonder if he thinks, okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to get, my 30 minutes back. And I think they're going to find out pretty quickly that won't work for them either. And then if it becomes an issue, then they're going to have to move him or something. So I don't know. I would give it 50-50 chance that he won't last the whole season there. But it'll be a challenge for Russ. Can he do that? But just getting back to Booker, yeah, but what I liked about it was that it took him a few games, and he finally is like, okay, fine, I'm really not going to do my thing. I'm just going to just play that, the catch and shoot guy. And man, he looked great doing that. That was great. And he played a little defense, but they were picking on him too. They didn't pick on Steph as much, I didn't think, defensively for some reason, as they did, Booker. But then the one guy that was getting a little bit of trouble was LeBron with the Yabusele. And I'm kind of curious your thoughts. Yabusele had a terrific tournament, or he came on strong as the games went on. We'd seen him in the NBA, didn't really get much of a shot in Boston, but that was a pretty good team, and there was guys in front of him. So I think he's going to get another shot in the league with Boston again. Do you think he's going to be able to recreate some of that magic that we saw during the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, I think from what he did in the Olympics, he definitely deserves another shot, and also the 3-point shooting has gotten better since then. So yeah I think he could definitely help an NBA team.
Yeah, he's got a Jokic type 3-point shot.
Yeah, I mean, he was knocking them down though. He was knocking them down.
It's not 7 feet, so that's like a part. It's real slow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his game's not going to be predicated on 3-point shooting, but he can knock it down if you leave him open.
I'd be surprised. Now, I could see maybe like flying out to the corners and getting some of those, maybe. But yeah, well, and then I'm trying to wrap my head around the Celtics roster right now, who they have and who they're going to come back with.
No, but he doesn't have to play for the Celtics at this point.
Isn't that? I thought that's who he signed with again. Am I crazy? Or
it's been a few years. He signed
again
with
them. That was the thing. Like he's coming back to the NBA now.
Oh no, I don't think he signed. I don't think he signed yet.
Oh, I don't know. I missed that. I thought I saw.
No, I think he's yeah. I don't think he signed in the NBA yet.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. I'm looking it up right now, but I guess he's seeking an NBA return. I don't know. I swear I thought maybe I must have just thought it because that's where he was before. Yeah. So if he can find a good situation and get some playing time, I think he could be good. I don't know. Or is it one of those things where it was the FIBA and he had a tremendous role on that team and that they really relied on him for posting up and that kind of stuff. And he was a beast down there. And by the way, he had that one fake handoff and then drive and dunked on.
That's what I'm saying.
Steph.
Yeah, I mean, he got plays like that. Also, his post-ups aren't like old post-ups. They're like modern. They're quick. Like he'll just rip through, gets to the lane, maybe put it back on you and spin. He's good.
Yeah. All right.
I could tell you're not a believer.
I'm not a believer. You'll have to convince me.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then we just got okay.
I know you so well, Coach Nick. I know when you're not a believer, and I know what you're thinking before you do.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, let's see what Martin Jose is thinking. Martin, thank you so much. Great to see you, Martin. Woo, big best friend of the breakdown, grandfather of the breakdown. I don't know what we call him. Who do you think will win the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year? Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese? There's been talk AR will win, but I predict CC will win it. Yeah, it's going to be Clark. And Angel's been putting up some really good numbers, but I think that the arguments is going to end up being that she's missing a lot of shots and getting her own rebounds.
What, that's like stat padding? You're saying
it's not necessarily stat padding; it's just a little bit of a finishing skill deficit that she needs to improve.
But doesn't she get it in? Doesn't she get the bucket eventually? Usually,
yeah, or the free throws, yeah. But if you're going to compare those two, then I think you're going to have to go with Caitlin.
I mean, Caitlin Clark's peak this year seems a little bit higher than Angel Reese's, right? Like when she was playing at her best, it was a little bit better than Angel Reese at her best.
Yeah. They kind of stopped doing the welcome to the WNBA stuff with her and all the extra BS physicality stuff. And then the team got a little bit better at not dropping her passes. I mean, oh my Lord, I did the video. It actually did pretty well. I'm looking forward to doing some more and then they come back. She was getting turnovers because her teammates were dropping the ball. And there are a number of those were like, why is she getting credited with that? It should be the receiver. But they're getting better at that. And
you should.
So, yeah. And once that started getting dialed in better, then she was playing better and hitting shots. So I don't know. I don't think, I think it's going to end up being Caitlin Clark. The narrative is that way. And I just think maybe even skill wise, it's that way.
You should do a video on who's going to win who you predict will win the championship this year, because it's a little more even than it used to be with the Aces. They're not as like dominant overall, even though they're playing better now. Right.
And interestingly enough, you have people who want to tank for Beckers too, so you have that dynamic going on. Because you know what, the argument can be made that she's better than Caitlin Clark.
Oh, that's tough.
You can make that argument, and we'll see. But she might be like a better athlete than Caitlin Clark. She certainly can do a lot of the same stuff.
She can't shoot from 40 like Caitlin, right?
She probably doesn't have that kind of range.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's players that jump higher than Steph. So what?
Right. But Beckers has a lot of other things.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though.
Listen, I'm excited. It's the women's game is going to end up being continue to grow, and thank goodness for Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It's exactly like Magic and Bird.
It is.
You know what I mean? It really is. This is their Magic and Bird moment, and you're seeing it right now. They're selling out arenas for both players, and that'll continue to grow. And then Beckers will inject it even more in that Michael Jordan way.
Wow, look at you.
I mean, I don't think she's gonna have that kind of impact, but you know how Michael Jordan came. This is they're a little too scrunched up compared to like how Michael came 5 years after. Or 4 or 5 years after Larry and Magic. So that was sort of a nice Larry Magic built it, started to get it going, and then Michael just was the fuel to the fire that made it explode.
I remember that. Yeah.
So it's sort of like it'd be the same thing.
Also, but a lot of that was also what Nike did with Jordan, right?
It had a lot to do with it for sure. But luckily, Michael was up to it. He had that charisma and that smile and all that.
It was a combination of so many things, right? Basically.
Yeah.
I
was going to do a video on the Michael Jordan. Have you seen that Bobby Knight speech talking about halftime of the Spain gold medal game in '84? No. There's a funny story. Bobby Knight was the coach. And he's talking about how tough Michael was. I have the full game of that game. It's not the best quality, so it's not always easy to see who everyone is, at least from my eyes. But I got to tell you, I remember even back then reading the Sports Illustrated articles and seeing some of the footage. Michael Jordan was so good on that team; it was frightening.
Yeah,
but he played
in the '84 Olympics.
Michael did.
Yeah.
That's what Bobby Knight's talking about.
Yeah. I remember I had like a old tape when I was like a kid, and I used to watch '84 Olympics. And you see the Jordan highlights, and they were ridiculous. And they weren't even like featuring him that much. They were like showing every sport, but his highlights were crazy. He was so athletic. Yeah.
He really, the way
he had the hair. He had the hair. Yeah.
So, well, what else can we talk about? I think we got to the end of that. Was there anything else?
No. My birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Let me be the first to wish you happy birthday. You're going to tell us which one it is?
I have to remain mysterious, even though probably people could figure it out if they really wanted to.
Okay.
You know the internet and ChatGPT these days.
Well, luckily for me and my not my Manscaped, for what products I have I forgot. I haven't done an ad for them in a while, but I have this great face products and I look a lot younger in them. So I'm able to skirt by a little bit on when it's my birthday. I don't have to tell anybody either, but maybe people think I'm younger than I am. And my back went out, by the way. I had the worst ever episode in Hawaii, and it finally got a little bit better. And my doctor gave me some prednisone, some steroids, and I got to tell you, man, I feel like a superhero right now. I went to the gym, and you ever worked out on steroids? Holy moly! It's almost like a stimulant. Not everyone gets that way, but it's a stimulant to me where I was like,
but it's not. But when people say steroids, like it's not the same steroids that a bodybuilder would use, right? Or is it
like an anabolic steroid? I don't think this is really to bring the inflammation down.
Yeah.
But as a result, because I have aches and pains, everything hurts, whatever. But when I took this, it's like it makes everything feel much better. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. So
Coach Nick on roids is crazy.
Yeah,
that's
right.
A crazy combination.
You do no spray is a steroid, so people use it all the time. And by the way, there's a whole thing there where like I was reading about Michael Phelps. There are certain things you can take. Like if you're an asthmatic and you're an Olympic, athlete, you can use steroids because it's treated. That's how you treat your issue. And some people in the background are talking about all of a sudden everyone develops asthma when they get on the Olympic team.
But it's not the same type of steroid, I think, is it?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a thread. It doesn't, whatever. I don't care. It almost feels like let them take steroids if they want to do it and they want to maybe.
It's really it's just a game for years, like forever, like the testing versus the people using, and there's probably a lot of people using out there. That's all it is. It's just a game.
And they hide it and they can mask it and this and that.
Yeah,
whatever.
all that.
So
if you had to guess how much % of the Olympics you think are on steroids, like especially in the
and they're trying their best, but there's just ways to get around it and then train with it and then not train with it, so it's not in there when they test. But we have another super. Let's go to our last super chat, perhaps. Brian Holiday, thanks so much again. Asia Wilson is such a fun player to watch. Who do you think her game is most like to an NBA player? Ooh, I see her kind of like a better Chris Bosh or KG.
A better KG is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess she's kind of got that. I could see that. Yeah.
You know what? She initiates offense this year too because their full team wasn't there. Who was missing from their team, and then she came back now. The Aces. Was it Chelsea Gray?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really fun to watch, and she finishes really nicely inside. I like to watch her there. And I'm going to do a deeper dive in WNBA now that there's even more interest, and it feels like people will watch those videos. I'll do some more because there's not much to do. Man, I'm on my hands, and sitting on my hands all summer long, man. There's no good trades. There's no good free agency signing. The summer league was kind of so. I'm desperate to get some content out there. I feel bad. I'm sorry that I haven't done so many videos, but there's just not much to do.
The Olympics.
Can't do it. We're gonna block it. Idiots them all over there. Maybe they'll finally fix that. Chelsea Gray, that's is right. So anyhow, but I think maybe I'll try and do it tomorrow. Oh, but also coming up is a Chase Defense Part 2, where I have clips from other teams that were running it this past season, and I'll put something together and do another launch. I'm having a big Zoom on Friday with all the coaches that have been running it and using it. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to get that going because I want some more teams to be running it this year. If you're a coach out there who are looking for a defense that will absolutely destroy the offense, reach out to me, Coach Nick at B-Ball Breakdown, and I'll show you the zone I invented.
He'll even show up in your town. He showed up in New York teaching it.
I did. I showed up there. I went to Missouri. I've been around, man, and it was fun. And the team I'm going to help install the offense, he's going to let me do the defense too. So I'm excited about that.
Cool.
So anyhow, well, thanks everyone for being here. Oh, and stay tuned for perhaps this video I'm going to do about Drew Holiday and KCP. If anybody wants to watch that, and then I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm going to go to the Democratic National Convention. I even have a credential to cover that, so that'll be interesting on my other side. So if you have any kind of predilection towards politics, then follow me over on my politics side, which is Can You Hear Me SMH on my Twitter, and then the Muckrake Political Podcast. We'll be doing all sorts of crazy content from there because I'll be in the stadium. I'll be grabbing politicians and surrogates and all sorts of people and getting interviews. So that should be really cool. And I'll be outside, watching, seeing what's going on with protests and whatnot.
Okay.
So so that'll be fun. All right, Combo. Well, so that means I'm not around till next week. So I guess we'll have to figure out that whole thing. But we'll figure it out.
I'll be away like Sunday to Friday or Saturday too. So I think we're both out of town. So we'll both be back around the same time.
Awesome. Yeah, nothing's happening between them.
Yeah.
Great show. Thank you, everyone out there. Thank you for all the super chats. Terrific for the super chats today. Wow, this is a really great way to help us keep this show going. It helps us. It's really important. Love to be able to have you guys out here and put you on the screen and all that stuff too. Yeah, Johnny, should I just do it permanently? How do I do that? Yeah, how about that? There you go, Johnny. He's gone. We'll never see him again. Did you see what's going on? Some guy was writing the same thing over and over again in the comments, but no longer. Thank you, YouTube. All right. Don't forget, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be back in probably in a couple of weeks. And keep your eyes out for the videos. Keep your eyes out for all of Combo stuff on his side, please. And don't forget, it's B-Ball Breakdown. We're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?